There's a lot of things that happens in this world. Good, bad, mediocre. It's just kind of how it is sometimes. And other times, it comes from within. It's our own internal struggles that we deal with. Thing is, one thing that I learned, if I could maybe impart some wisdom to somebody else, if they ever so need it. You can't lie to yourself with the emotions you have. Because when you do, eventually it will come up and it'll hurt you more than you realize. You see, I've been lying to myself. To some degree, of course, but lying nevertheless. It's about my feelings and emotions. A part of me felt ready to move on. But yet, somehow, I always find myself going back. Going back to a past that is no longer here. On one hand, it's because I missed the individual, knowing that we could have had something special. On the other hand, it's because of the pain I feel having to hurt them. I hurt them because I didn't want them to suffer in our relationship. Especially knowing how the people in our lives felt about us. The people in my life, more specifically. And it hurt. It hurt a lot. Because on one hand, I was doing it to try to protect her. On the other hand, it was also a hope for her to move on. But ultimately, it was killing me. I wish I had a moment to tell her I'm sorry. I'm sorry I had to be the one to take such drastic measures and not give her a choice. Because at the end of the day, it was all done out of fear. And even though I try to work through fear, to face it head on, I'm still human, and I will still falter. Love is not an easy thing, nor are the choices we make for it. Aside from that, the choices we make internally. Because sometimes you could try to do something that is right, but it'll hurt. And it's painful. And it's scary. Other times, it'll bring peace, or a sense of empowerment. A willingness to feel like you can accomplish anything. For me, it was the former. I was killing myself with such emotions, with such an action that I took. I will always feel sorry. I will always hurt. The scars don't seem to heal as nicely as they should compared to other scars. And it doesn't help that there are things in my current time that add on to more negative emotions, more so anger and rage. And while I've had a better grasp and concept of how to deal with this anger and rage, well, it still seems like I'm learning from it. Because on one hand, it was on a personal sense between me and one individual, on the other hand, it turned to me wanting to protect other individuals from another. Because emotions love to clash and don't compartmentalize themselves into just one singular emotion to deal with, things become complicated. You don't learn how to deal with these emotions or the choices you make and become honest with them. You will definitely drown yourself. You will lose yourself. And it's not a matter of a sense of being weak-minded or anything as such. No, it's just a matter of fact of being human. Everybody experiences things differently. Everybody has different moments that will define them later on in their lives. I try to learn and grow. But in this very current moment of my life, it seems like I'm in some kind of bypass. Or standstill, actually. Because while my life is constantly moving forward, I feel myself entangled into different worlds. And what I mean by such is, I could see myself back with the individual that I had hurt, doing things differently, or actions that could be taken now that could result in different outcomes. But alas, I take nothing. I let them go back. I let them go by. There's so much power in the choices we make. There are so many influences that can come from a single choice at a single moment and point in our lives. The thing is, in this current moment in my life, I see too many choices to actually see a clear answer forward, because there are so many answers to be given. And how does one choose a correct answer when you also try to protect? It's like trying to teach a child how to learn a new equation or how to create a sentence. You could give them the answer, but they won't understand it. Or maybe they'll get some concept of it, but there won't be a whole picture. There was a point in time in my life where I was able to see a certain amount of choices, manipulate the outcomes to my own will, and have things come out exactly how I planned them. As time passed, I grew scared of that, because it was a form of manipulation. I did not want to do such a thing. I didn't want to keep people from learning, and I mean those in my life. So when I eventually stopped, tried to live in the moment, take things as they are, at first it was easy. But it slowly became something not feasible, not for me. When I was with the individual that I had to hurt, so in hopes to have them move on, I tried giving them answers. So many answers. But I'm not sure if they fully understood, or was able to see the million other different outcomes from a certain sentence. or action. Having those moments, it gnawed at me inside, tore me apart. Because I had so many reasons on why I was doing what I was doing to protect them, and why I didn't want them near me. And they'd ask why, and why. And I'd wanted to give another answer, but I knew if I did, another outcome would come, and another, and another, and another, and another. Eventually, it became too much for me. I became too scared. So I decided to shut down, act one certain way that would deal an absolute blow, and save them from any more pain that I would cause, or could cause, later on. I still love them. I still love her. And while a part of me will always hope that she's listening to these, I know how hard it would be for her to hear these words. I'm sure I could think of a million other thoughts that she could be going through if she were to hear these things. But that's not for me to decide or choose. I still need to be honest with myself at the very least. And the honesty of my own heart is that I'm sorry. And I love you. I miss you. And there are days where it hurts so much that I think I would die from the pain. There are other days where I'm suffocating because I can't tell anyone about this pain. Because they all thought or think that I've moved on. I try to move on. I truly do. But it's such a difficult thing for me. Because I'm still holding on to every other person in the past that I've also dealt with. People that I've let go. People whom I was close with who hurt me. To somebody I loved. I want to hold on to all those memories, all those emotions, all those moments, because there's an appreciation to it, as difficult as it can be. A gratitude through pain. Most people try to shove it back, ignore it, push it away, say it's not worth it, move on. But in my own egotistical, narcissistic way, I'm not going to be like other people. I don't want to be. I don't care to fit in. I don't care to stick with a group, to follow the next trend. No. I just prefer to do me. Be me. Who I am is a person who is isolated, but will occasionally come into contact with other people and will teach, help them learn. Guidance of wisdom from pain and anger, all accumulated through a short span of my own life. And I understand there are plenty of other people who've had much worse than I. They most likely came out better than me, or they're suffering worse than I. So I can't put myself in some plaque or and some stand. But I think maybe in some way I say these words as a sense of trying to keep myself humble. It's one of the big problems with me. I try to show off, to express, to teach and learn, having a sense of wisdom, but at the same time, shutting myself down, so that way I don't get too arrogant. When I get to that state, I feel myself neglecting everything I've learned, or neglecting the appreciation that I know I deserve, because I worked for it. There's also choices on how you act on within yourself, to how you become as a person later on, through whatever hardships you may endure. I'm using this message as a way to help others to not do what I do, to learn. And if my dear sweet flower, my raccoon, if she's hearing this, I hope she knows how sorry I am for doing what I did. And to let her know, even though it hurts, if she were to hear this, I love you. Maybe it didn't work out in this life, but maybe in the next. And to those who are listening to this, at least I'll be honest with you, the stranger that listens. So at the very least, I am honest with someone. Thank you to whoever is listening. And I always wish you the best. I want this world to be happier, to be more at peace, to be more understanding, and to learn. I leave this here, and I will talk at another time.